Everyone, welcome back to Creator's Kitchen, and today this is what we are going to cook: salted mackerel. And here we're just showing you, they call salt mackerel. So today we are going to cook salt mackerel, Jamaican salt mackerel. So it's salted, so we're going to wash it in water and vinegar to take a lot of the salt from it. So we're just going to open the package. As you can, long salted mackerel, and what we're going to do, we're going to wash it out nicely, and we're going to wash it with vinegar. First we're going to wash it with running water, tap water, to get out some of the salt, and then we're going to cut it. It's already clean, so you just need to wash it. When it's cooked, we debone it. So we're gonna we can just use our knife and cut it in half like that. There we go. And you get both pieces into the top. So you make sure you wash it properly under running water, and then get rid of that water in the sink. And we're just gonna get some lemon, and we're gonna squeeze some lemon into this water to take that salt and that funny taste from it. And we have some vinegar. I'm gonna pour some vinegar in there. So you wash it with salt, with lemon and vinegar to take away that. It had a little pickle smell. I don't like it, so I tend to wash it. After you wash it in the water, then we're going to put in some water and boil it. So we're going to take this bit off. Make sure that come off. You can cut off in. And a large fish this one is. And then we are going to pour about 3 tablespoons of vinegar in. You don't have to put 3, you can put 2 tablespoons of vinegar into the water to boil the mackerel. So that take away that horrible smell. It's really nice when you cook it in vinegar. You take away that mackerel and give you a nice taste. So now we're just gonna shift it about and leave this to boil for about. We're gonna leave all we boiling out from it is the salt, and to cook the mackerel. Then now, so what we're gonna do while the mackerel is cooking, we have some bell pepper, some hot pepper, some spring onion, and some cherry tomato. Unfortunately, I do not have the other type of tomato, so I'm going to just use this. You can use any tomato in your mackerel, as long as you have some tomato. So what we're going to do, and we have 1 onion, we're going to chop this or peel. So if you like just the onion chop in quite big, otherwise you can chop it just the way you want it. Gonna de-seed our bell pepper, and then the onion sting your eyes, it's really stingy. And as we have the bell pepper, you just, and here we have this one. We're gonna chop that in. Cook our salt mackerel. So now that our salt mackerel is cooking, what we're gonna do with it here, we're gonna cool it down in some cold water. So what you do when your salt mackerel is cooked, you remove it from the pan and you debone it. So I'm just checking it every time. When it's cooked, it's quite tender there. So I think I need to give it another 5 minutes more because it's quite hard. So I'm going to let it boil a little bit more, and then I'll take it out. So you just let it boil all that salt from it, and then you rinse it off, and then you debone it, and then it's ready to go. So let's give it a few more minutes to cook. Oh, there you break it, you put that in. So you put it all in. And then we are going to debone the mackerel. So as it is cooling in the cold water, so this is the first quarter of the mackerel, and the mackerel carry a large middle bone. So this is the middle bone, and I take that out. And as you can see, we're taking out the little sharp, spiky bones from in this mackerel. So what you do, you break it open in the middle and check for all those spiky bones. You don't have much bone in the tail part of the mackerel, but in the head part you have a lot of bone. So you break it in small pieces and feel for the bone. You can break it as small as you want to or as large as you want to. So in this bit at the tail you don't find much bone. So in the head part of it, you find the bone at the back and in where they clean that belly part of the fish. So you find all these sharp bones in the side of the head. You take the head off. We're not going to use the head. I don't like the head with the eyes, some people do. And in that part near to the fin, you take all those sharp, can you see those sharp spiky bone? Make sure you search it for those. You don't want to be choked on bone. So make sure you properly debone it. So you just keep breaking it apart until you get all the bones from it, as that is bone in that one as well. And you turn it over at the back. All these bit is bones. So you want to get rid of every bone from in that area. Breaking it open, you find very sharp spiky bone. So make sure you debone it properly. As you can see. And as you break it along in your hand, just make sure you feel for the bone. And this is the second part of the head. And you can see we find another bone. So that's a large bone cut into, and there you go. So make sure you get all the bone from it. So now we're gonna break the head off. I will not eat that bit, it looks disgusting. And then you make sure you take all those spiky bone out from beside the head. And you break this little bit open here, and you can see all these spiky bone. So open it and check for bones. It's good to wear gloves, cooking gloves as well, then, because you won't get all that mackerel smell on your hand. That fish. There you go. All these bones is here. So you make sure you clean it thoroughly and make sure all the bones are removed from the fish. Now this is the second quarter of the tail. So this side doesn't have a lot of bone in it because it is the middle bone, and you take the middle bone out. So you might find a few tiny spiky bone in here, not a lot. As you can see, I'm opening it, but I haven't seen any bone while I'm open. So while you break it, you check for fine spiky bone. Now we're going to drain it off. So that's what you get, and you don't have any bone. All of this is debone. If you want to break it in small sizes, you can break it again. If you want to have it in large sizes, it's okay. So this is what we have left. I'm just checking to see if there's any more bone. Now we're gonna cook this up with the vegetable. So as we put the oil
here we put the oil in. So now we're gonna fry it. Make sure our onion is softened a little bit.
My onion doesn't chop very fine or nicely. It is quite shallow, but I don't mind. I like onion.
So first you put your onion in and let it soften for a little.
Very fine.
And then you
go ahead and chop it small.
let the onion soften, then you pour your other rest of seasoning
so it was
with the
difficult
onion.
to chop. But anyway,
so now that the onion is softened, we're going to put all the other rest of chopped vegetables in. We're going to put in our tomato, our bell pepper, and our spring onion. And you're gonna let all these vegetables soak in the oil, and then you add your mackerel. So you leave that to soften for about 4 minutes, and then you add your mackerel. So we have another 2 minutes to let this soften for. So now that our vegetables are softened a bit, you can see it's cooking to make a bit of gravy. We're gonna pour our mackerel into that. And we're just gonna mix it in with the veg. So the veg have its own water, so you notice it have a lot of moisture in it because of the amount of veg you're using it. So you don't have to add any water to the mackerel. So now don't forget to add your black pepper. So now we're gonna add our black pepper to the mackerel, and you're gonna turn the flame very low to let it simmer for about 10 minutes, so you get everything combined nicely, because you want all the vegetable to soft and tender, and the juice of the vegetable and the mackerel combined together. Oh my word, it's delicious. So now we're gonna sprinkle our black pepper on it. Turn the flame down low and let the mackerel simmer into the juice of the vegetables nicely. You don't want it to burn and you don't want it to dry. You just leave it to simmer in that lovely veg with that pepper and onion, and you get that lovely flavor. Because the mackerel is already salted, so you don't add anything to the mackerel. You just nicely cook it in veg. So the veg take away that heavy salt, but it blends in with the mackerel, so it gives you a beautiful taste. So you let that simmer for 10 minutes slow. Looks like, so you have the mackerel with the veg, and it's nicely cooked. So we're just gonna remove it from the flame, and guess what? We're going to make you some fried dumpling to go with it. I had already made fried dumpling, but I'm just gonna remake my fried dumpling, and we're gonna have salt mackerel, Jamaican salt. Look at that delicious, yummy mackerel. Here we have 1.5 cup of self-raising flour, and we're gonna add half a teaspoon of salt into that self-raising flour, just a little less than half a teaspoonful of salt. And all you need to do with this fried dumpling, you're just gonna knead it. Already add the salt, so we're gonna mix the salt in, and guess I'm just using the spoon to knead the dumpling.
That's what I'm using, doing it in my great grandmother style. She never liked to put her hand into the flour when it's loose, but when it's needed more, then she had her hand into it. So at the moment, I'm just using the spoon to judge the water, and as soon as it's combined, then I'll knead it with my hand. So let's go ahead and get this dough together. Let's get all the flour. It's simple. All you do, just keep putting the water. Don't pour too much water at the time when you're making a dumpling. Just slowly and keep folding the flour together to make sure. So as you can see, slowly coming together. Just pour your water again and keep kneading. And just it's nearly there. So what we're gonna do, we're gonna put the spoon down, and then I can continue with the spoon right until the end, but I don't know if you would be able to do it. It's not hard to do. As you can see, all combined together. I don't have to put my hand in. There you go. So we're just gonna, sorry, I make a mess here. So we're just gonna spoon, you don't wanna waste it. So just move that dough from the spoon and let's knead. So you make sure you knead it till everything is nice and soft, and then you cover it for about 15 minutes, and then you're ready to make your dumpling. So you leave the flour, and remember, it's self-raising flour. Option, I'm using a tea towel just to cover it for a few minutes. So now we are here with our dumpling. You just roll it like that on your chopping board, and guess what, we're just gonna cut into it. We're gonna cut little ones. We're gonna make some tiny little dumpling, not too big. Dumpling in the oil, and it's slowly making. So you just put some oil in the pot to let it out, and we just remember, everyone, I'm refrying my dumpling. I have already done a dumpling recipe, but I'm redoing it again. So it's whole. Here we go, our dumpling is slowly frying. Now we are frying the second portion of dumpling. Our salt mackerel is already cooked, and here we have our salt mackerel and fried dumpling. I just repeat the recipe of the fried dumpling, and I hope you enjoy making this meal with me. It's a delicious Jamaican fried dumpling and salt mackerel. And if you're your first time on Creative's Kitchen, welcome to Creative's Kitchen. Don't forget to like and subscribe to receive weekly video. Sorry everyone, I've not posted any video for the last 2 weeks because my device was playing up.